Welcome to the MSP Corner podcast. Before we kick off our show, we would like to share what our main objective is at the MSP Corner. Our main goal is to help CEOs build profitable and self-sustainable IT service firms. We are not just providing tools for IT firms, we will be sitting in meetings with you to ensure your IT firm stays on track. The first area we are focused on, strategic sales. IT firms are stuck selling technology or IT support. We will provide you with the blueprint so you position your firm as an added value to your prospects. We will have framework on how to sell value so you influence the prospect into selecting your firm. The second area we see many IT firms struggle in is marketing. 90+% of businesses rely on antiquated marketing methods. The most popular choice, word of mouth. We have proven methods on how to attract the ideal prospect. Our framework will include how to become the online authority and be the business influencer for an industry. The third component to our package, scaling. IT firms walk away from opportunities because they lack the bandwidth or skill set to scale. We have lined up reputable businesses so our members can hire on-demand resources that will allow them to scale their business. The fourth area we will offer help in, selecting the right tools. In order to deliver value, you need the right tech stack. Our platform will offer information on products that are the ideal choice for MSPs. The fifth area we will offer help in is with documentation. Templates are a critical component when building an MSP. We will have contracts, proposals, SOWs, collateral, and much more in the template section. You will have every document you need to start up your managed IT service business. Thank you for tuning in. Let's go to our next podcast. Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to the MSP Corner podcast. I am your host, Fernando Leon. And the title of today's show, well, before I give you that, I'm on my own today. I think Gregory's stuck in a meeting, but that's okay. The show must go on. We're not going to be holding back because I got to stay on track with my own agenda. And my goal every week is to produce 2 podcasts and 2 webinars. 2 podcasts every week and 2 webinars each month. At least that's my goal. I might go to 3. I might go to 4 because we've started a new company and the demand for that product is climbing. So, but anyways, I digress. And let me give you the title of today's show. It's the real reason you're losing deals. It's not price, it's leadership. But before we get started, I always have an agenda. So let me just dive into that. And like always, we start off with an introduction. And we're going to have 5 topics today. People don't buy logic, they buy relief. Weak discovery is why you're losing. Objections aren't objections. They're fear. Inaction has a cost, but you're afraid to say it. Pricing objections are about alignment. And then a short plug on the MSP Corner. And like always, my closing thoughts. All right, so let's start this off. Now, if you're running a $1 to $3 million, well, let's say even below $1 million to $3 million MSP, and you're still losing deals, this episode was created for you. Okay, so today, we're not going to be talking about scripts or closing tricks. We're going to be talking about the psychology, buying behavior, emotional decisions, fear, uncertainty, and why weak sales leadership silently destroys value. All right, so I know this might sting a little, but it might change how you sell moving forward. So tune in, lean in, and strap yourself down because this is going to be a little bit of, well, it's going to be a short ride. It's not that long. But okay, first topic. People don't buy logic, they buy relief. What do I mean by that? Because this is where I'm starting. CEOs, your prospective clients, even your clients, they love logic. We at MSPs, we love frameworks, SLAs, service level agreements, tool stacks, compliance charts. And then we believe prospects compare proposals rationally, like like they're rational people, but they don't. People decide emotionally, then they justify logically. Now, when a prospect buys managed services, they're not buying your stack, your RMM tools, or your SOC tools. They are buying relief from uncertainty, relief from risk, relief from embarrassment, relief from potential failure. They are solving a problem that is emotionally uncomfortable. And here's where most sub 1 million or 1 to 3 million CEOs lose these deals. They explain services instead of intensifying the emotional cost of the problem. Humans move away from pain faster than they move toward pleasure. Did you know that? I never really sat down and thought of it, but it's true. We move away faster from pain than moving towards pleasure. Now that means your job is not to describe how great you are. Your job is to articulate their pain better than they can. So if you can describe the operational chaos, the audit anxiety, the fear of a breach, the stress of downtime in their language, they will feel understood. And when someone feels understood, they believe you have the solution. And I live by a motto, okay? And you guys need to adapt this same motto, my mantra. This is my mantra. Clients don't buy from you because they understand your business. They buy from you because you understand them. So now you've got to turn that around so you attach emotion to it. All right. So once you attach that pain, that you understand their pain, yeah, you're going to be closing a lot more business. All right, my next topic is weak discovery is why you're losing these opportunities. Now, most MSP CEOs think they're good at discovery, but what they're actually doing is qualifying budget and timelines. They're not uncovering emotional drivers. The right discovery questions lead prospects to their own conclusion. So instead of saying or asking, what tools are you using? You're going to ask, what happens if your current environment fails during peak operations? Another one that you can ask, well, first, obviously, you don't want to say, do you have compliance requirements? Ask this. Ask, what would a failed audit mean for your organization and for you personally? Because they're the ones that might be under that are going to be on the hot seat. Notice the shift. You're not gathering data, you're exposing consequences, you're exposing the pain and then the consequences. And now here's a little hard truth for many of you. Many of you CEOs at MSPs avoid digging into pain because you guys want to be liked. You soften the questions, you move too quickly. You tend to rescue prospects from discomfort, and you can't do that. Discomfort is what drives decisions. And if they don't feel urgency, they will stall. So keep that in mind. You've got to expose as much urgency and pain as possible. Now, if you need help with all these questions, that's why you join the MSP Corner. We're going to be mentoring you so you can expose this pain. That's what it's all about. Expose the pain. If you don't feel the pain, why are you going to do anything about it? Right? Next topic is objections aren't objections. They're really fear. So let's talk about objections for just a second here. When a prospect says it's too expensive, or what is another one? We need to think about it, or they might even say, we're happy with our current provider. That is not a pricing issue. That is uncertainty. They are unsure if they can trust you. Objections are fear statements disguised as logic. Fear eh, or fear it won't work for them. There's the fear of switching providers, fear of making the wrong decision. Then you have the fear of internal blame. So your job as a sales leader is not to overcome objections, is to reduce uncertainty, reduce that fear. That means showing proof, demonstrating clarity, reinforcing consequences of staying where they are today, making the path forward predictable. But here's where weak leadership shows up. You start to discount. Don't do that. Why would you do that? Because discounting reduces tension. It gives you control. It ends the discomfort, but it doesn't solve their fear. It trains them to value you a lot less. So don't offer discounts. I can't emphasize that enough. All right. Inaction has a cost, but some of you or a lot of you are afraid to say it. What do I mean by that? This is where most CEOs tend to shy away, I don't know, they feel like they're being confrontational. You got to highlight that inaction. Well, you got to highlight that inaction, not doing anything, has a negative effect. Not in a manipulative way, but in a responsible way. Because if they don't improve their security position, risk increases. If they don't modernize infrastructure, their operations becomes vulnerable, right? If they delay, well, they're going to increase their exposure. But many of you know who I'm talking to. Many MSP CEOs avoid this conversation because they're afraid of being pushy. So let me be direct and candid with you guys. If you believe your solution prevents harm, then not pressuring or creating urgency by you not creating urgency is kind of irresponsible. You're not a vendor, okay? You're an advisor. So you've got to say, look, if you don't get EDR in place and an MDR solution, so you have someone always watching your network, yeah, you're going to have a security breach, and then that might take you out of compliance if you're dealing with a regulated industry. Okay, you're an advisor, so position yourself as an advisor. Advisors speak plainly and clearly about risk. And here's something mentoring has taught many CEOs. Accountability sharpens your level of courage. When someone reviews your pipeline every week, your discipline improves. You ask harder questions, you stop letting deals drift, you stop accepting that phrase, I'll circle back next quarter, right? Because you want to, there's a reason you met with your prospect. There's a reason they're unhappy. You just have to expose it and then deal with objections as they come up. All right, pricing objections. This is my last topic here on the show. Now, pricing objections are more about alignment. So let me dismantle the myth of it's too expensive. That's not what it is. It's really misalignment. Either you didn't emphasize the cost of the problem enough, or you didn't connect value to business outcomes. Or maybe the prospect doesn't prioritize the issue. That could be another reason. But high-performing MSP CEOs understand this very important piece of information. Price resistance means the emotional value hasn't exceeded the perceived cost. And I'm going to blame leadership on that. So if your proposal is full of line items instead of business impact, you train them to compare numbers. Now, if you rush to proposal before, if you rush to creating a proposal before diagnosing their network, you really have commoditized yourself. And here's the part you're not going to like. If you're consistently losing on price, it's not the market. It's positioning. It's discipline. It's how you lead the sale. Now, that's why mentorship exists, for this exact reason. Not to give you scripts, but to expose blind spots you can't see inside your own process. Weak sales leadership hides in comfort. Strong leadership leans into discomfort. Let me repeat that, because a lot of you don't like to leave your comfort zone. Weak sales leadership hides in the comfort zone. Strong leadership leans into the discomfort zone. All right. Now, let me just give you guys a quick overview on the MSP Corner, because we're on a mission to deliver valuable content like today's show. And I'm one of the founders at an MSP, which is now an MSSP. And we understand the struggles many of you go through. I made so many sales and marketing mistakes early on in my career, and we learned from them. And that's the reason we built this platform to help guide many of you through your challenges. And we're going to be offering frameworks that solve the marketing and selling challenges. Plus, we're lining up resources to help you with outbound campaigns, SEO, PPC, scaling, offering a 24/7 white label help desk. We have a partner that provides that for many of our MSPs. So you guys don't have to leave money on the table. You're not losing out on opportunities. You've worked hard to build your company. Don't lose out on opportunities because you're scared to delegate. All right, here are my closing thoughts. If you're losing deals, it's not because the market is broken or it's a downturn. It's because value isn't being led from the start. Selling value requires emotional clarity, disciplined discovery, courage to expose risk, and refusal to discount your authority. Leadership in sales is not optional at the 7-figure level, right? And up to $3 to $4 million. If you want accountability and structure around that discipline, join our mentoring group and stop making excuses on why you're losing out on opportunities. Start leading. You need to lead your organization. All right, guys, thanks for listening. And don't forget to sign up to be a member at www.mspcorner.com. Please share our link with a CEO who will find our information beneficial to their business. Have a great day. Thank you for listening. And don't forget to sign up to be a member on www.mspcorner.com. Please share our link with a CEO who will find our information beneficial to their business. Have an awesome day.